SwitchGrocery weekly show. I'm Neha. This is Mollee. Today she's joining me. If you don't know us, I'm the co-founder of SwitchGrocery, and we're an online grocery store that brings you food products before anyone else does, just like Keto Brainz, which we're going to talk about today. And this is Mollee. Mollee is a clinical nutritionist, a supplements expert, and she's also a supplements tester and a nootropics expert. And we're so excited to talk about brain function, brain health today. She's the creator of Keto Brainz. Welcome, Mollee.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to chat.
You're so welcome.
So
yes, you're in Canada. Oh,
yes.
Let me just hold up Keto Brainz. And since you're just joining us, I surprise every guest. One sec. Actually, I have an echo. So give me a sec.
Okay.
This happens.
And let me know if you need me to.
This was bound to happen today. It's all good. I can hear myself. Okay, everyone, please give us a little bit of a thumbs up if you can hear us. Amazing. Okay, great. I had a video open and it was us. I found it. There's always something going on, right?
This is fair.
Okay, done. And we're also sending out our text message now, which is, I only do it when we are actually live. So we're live. Okay, hello, Karen is in the building. Lori Olson is in the building. So Mollee, the first 5 minutes of our show, we spend talking about a challenge of the week and a highlight of the week. So I'm sorry to surprise you with this, but I'll go first. And Lori says she can hear. Karen says, can you please tell me the macros on the product? Karen, we're going to get right into it. So let me tell you about my highlight of the week. My highlight of the week is honestly getting to talk to you. Because
you are amazing.
It's true, because I'm literally obsessed with this bag. I go through it all the time. And every time that I can learn something new that makes my life better, I'm just all for it. So I'm really excited to talk to you. And my challenge of the week is talking to you, because there's a ton of research. And for someone who's just like, doesn't know nootropics, doesn't, dabble that much in supplements, this is all new to me. So that was all. I did a bunch of research to learn about nootropics and supplements and ask you the right questions. So you are my win and challenge this week.
Oh, you are amazing. Well,
what's yours?
So challenge of the week is for us is in relation to co-packing. We as a small business, there's always something that can come up, whether it's in the getting of the ingredients or the finishing of the co-packing. There's always delays you don't know are going to happen. So I think my biggest challenge this week has just been finding a way to just remain calm and understand that these things happen. And our customers are amazing. We've been in pre-order mode for a few weeks now, and we hate doing that. But we are so grateful that our customers hang in there with us and still place orders, knowing there's going to be an extended wait. But this is also challenging for me. I'm not used to doing these, so I was excited to do this, but it's also new for me to be speaking live on any platform like this. So thank you for having me and helping me in my process of getting more comfortable doing this.
It's going to be amazing. And Karen Bradley's here. Karen has watched episode 1, and I think we're episode 45. So
I love it. That's awesome.
So as she says, you always get better. You just keep getting better every episode. And all right, let's get right into it. First question. Hi, Jonah. We are talking to Mollee today from Keto Brainz. We're talking about nootropics and brain function. So my very first question, it was going to be what led you to starting Keto Brainz, but I'm going to get right into it. What is a nootropic?
Yes.
What does it mean?
Yeah, so the word nootropic comes from it's either the Greek or the Latin for mind turning. So a nootropic is intended to be a mind turning substance, and for our purposes, it's typically a pharmaceutical or a supplement that has the ability to help an already healthy brain work even better. And that's not to say that you cannot use this if you're having known cognitive issues or known cognitive decline. But in the realm of nootropic supplements, the idea is my brain works fine. I didn't have any issue with it, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to play around with things that might be able to give me a greater measure of focus or a greater measure of drive or a greater measure of calm. I like to think of the use of nootropics kind of as think of it as having different dials that you can use you can tune in your own neurochemistry towards what you're looking for. Not everyone wants to be more hyper. Some people want to be a little more chill. So in the best of scenarios, you're pairing yourself with a diet and a set of supplements and a set of nootropics that help you dial in how you want to feel on a daily basis. So mind turning, the idea being to, turn a mind that's already doing well into a mind that could do even better.
I love that. That makes a lot of sense to me. So could tea be a nootropic? Is coffee a nootropic?
Coffee is actually can be considered like the world's most used nootropic substance, because there's nary a person who hasn't had a cup of coffee. So I like, when people are like, I've never heard of a nootropic, I've never taken a nootropic. Well, have you had a cup of coffee? Because there's a nootropic effect of something as basic as coffee. So absolutely. And with tea, so green tea, caffeine, and we get L-Theanine. So both of these substances have nootropic effects for us. And the word sounds weird. People don't know how to say it. If you're not in the realm that I've been in for years, you may have never heard of the word, but likely you have in fact ingested a nootropic substance. And ketones could arguably be called an amazing nootropic. The effect that ketones, both endogenous and exogenous, have on our cognitive function, I personally think of the ketones that I make myself and the ones that I sometimes choose to ingest from a supplemental source. I would consider ketones a nootropic as well.
Okay, you're blowing my mind already. What is your background and what led you to starting Keto Brainz?
My background's all over the place. So to go way back, I was a fat kid. I was an obese teenager. I discovered eating disorders in home ec in a movie that was supposed to teach us to not do them at age 14. So, from 14 to 24, having been obese, I now know I just was looking for skinny. I was a kid. Kids don't look for health. Kids look for the thing that's going to make them comfortable. But by 24, my health was destroyed and I had to have a very strong chat with myself. And my life around 24 just became, what is health? How do I find it? Where does it live? What do I eat to do this health thing? I was over trying to find skinny because that clearly wasn't good for health. So I'm 46 now. So that was a long time ago. Over all those years, I stumbled into a job at a health food store that I found out I absolutely loved. I was helping people with real issues. My issues became nothing, and I had the opportunity to help people with something as simple as acne. Sorry, my thing is falling out here. Did I lose you?
No, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. So basically, back in 2006, arriving at that little health food store was kind of the beginning of my journey into the supplement industry, into nutrition, into understanding all the things we now know. Fat is not bad. Everything around what health actually was began a long time ago. fast forward, I worked for a company where I helped customers on a sales floor and educated them for close to 15 years, moved into a position, and during that time got Clinical Nutritionist certification, moved into a role where it was my job to build out supplement departments in a chain of grocery stores and hire and train and buy, test the supplements, the whole retail game.
Yeah,
and
that's
most
amazing.
The scope of the experience that I got hands on, you couldn't have purchased. Like, I can purchase a bunch of certifications, I can purchase a bunch more degrees, but those years taught me what an amazing thing it was to be passionately autodidactic. Like, to decide, that molecule sounds amazing. How does that impact me? What can I learn about it? Who can I talk to about it? So it's been a journey. Most recently, I was director of innovation for a company called Earth Bar, and that was a wonderful, fun journey. But Keto Brainz. So Keto Brainz came about because about 5 years ago, I was in Southern California, away from home, at work. We were opening a new store.
The best.
It was good. But I had a buddy who just kept bugging me to listen to this podcast. Like, you got to listen to this podcast. I was just busy. So it took me about a week to listen to this podcast. And this podcast was an episode of Joe Rogan that had Dom D'Agostino on. As a lot of people in this community know him, he's kind of the keto king. He's a neuroscientist, works at I don't want to, sorry, Dom, if I messed this up, but a scientist, researcher in Florida at the Institute for Human and Machine Cognition. And it was this 3.5-4 hour podcast that took a deep dive into the science and the evolutionary basis of the ketogenic diet as an optimal state for health right now and for health into the future. So being longevity minded and wanting to always optimize further, I was entranced. I stopped eating carbohydrates literally that day. Went to the grocery store. At that point, I was like, I want 0 carbs. So, I ate Parmesan cheese and sour cream for 3 days, but it got me into ketosis. And really, that whole journey of just, wow, keto and the ketogenic state, never had an issue with cognitive function. So it was shocking to know that there was a whole nother gear that you could tap into called ketosis, like, that felt different than any nootropic, that made your body feel different than anything else. And it was just a phenomenal thing that my body was creating this molecule. I was running on this other fuel substrate. So probably two years into being keto, I already had all the supplements I would take every morning, and I kind of knew, like, which supplement I wanted to take to, let's lower cortisol, let's bring up GABA, let's ramp up dopamine or bring dopamine down. Right. But with keto, bulletproof coffee, let's put some butter in the coffee, let's put our heavy cream in the coffee, let's do MCT oil. And that was lovely. I did that. It got messy, kind of got tired of it, moved to MCT powder, right?
Yeah.
Love the MCT powder. And before I knew it, I was just, adding the nootropics I knew I wanted to tickle my brain with on a daily basis into my ketogenic coffee every morning. And my brother, who has been an entrepreneur for much longer than I, was like, sister, this has to be a product. And me coming from the industry, I was like, there's no way. I'm not making a product. I'm not doing retail. There's no way. This is not going to be fun. But fortunately, he was adamant.
I don't know a lot of people who actually work in the food industry and then make a product, because for anyone listening, it's very difficult to make money in food. It's very difficult unless you're like your Kellogg's, right? Where everything, as you know, Kellogg's is Kellogg's employs thousands of people. Not to put down Kellogg's, don't come after me. But it's just when it's a mass-produced product and it's sourced, you find ingredients everywhere. You can drive your costs down because you can lower the quality.
There's
monopoly in distribution and all of that.
Cost.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But most people who make a product for their own, which obviously you did for themselves, and they have discovered something and want to bring it to more people, that's not even close to profitable, as you know.
No,
right off the bat.
No, to be fair, we concoct all sorts of food things that makes my brother very happy. And he always wants me to, like, sister, we need a food truck. We need to sell this. I was like, no. I was like, a supplement is one thing, because at least with a supplement, like this is a creamer, but this is a all by itself 100% nootropic supplement, separate from the fact that it's a creamer. So what I find amazing about it is that it's two things that so many people are already trying to integrate into their day, made simple, made far lower calorie than a traditional bulletproof coffee. It simplifies people's routines, and it introduces people who've never heard of a nootropic to a nootropic via the keto route, because this is different because we can at least, there's an opportunity to educate and make people feel a thing that helps them live better. And you're 100% correct. Like, there's no way I'd ever do like a retail food product. Just the amount of money that large companies want from tiny companies to put product on the shelf is insane. There's no chance for tiny companies. So So nope, there's just not. So this game of, we're going to make this amazing thing, and we're going to talk to and communicate to and educate to the right groups of people. It's been an amazing path, because our product has found the people who are interested in it, and we've been able, for the most part, to not go the retail route. And when we do, it's pretty much a marketing expense. It's let's get eyes on this product. It's definitely not the growth path for us.
What do you? It's interesting hearing you describe Keto Bricks. So Keto Brainz. I'm talking about Keto Bricks now.
We love them too. I love Keto Bricks.
You actually come. You know why I'm talking about Keto Bricks? Because I had a nootropic.
Nootropic icing.
Nootropic icing after that. I had
nice.
Creamer. So I had a day on the laptop, and I just needed I needed everything.
All the help.
All of it. So you would describe Keto Brainz as a nootropic first and a creamer second. Is that what I'm understanding?
It's tricky. So it really depends on, I want to say it depends on the audience, but I mean, It is a ketogenic nootropic creamer, and that is not a set of words that anyone has most likely put together. Maybe a few people have put together. So it is its own thing, but it speaks to people who understand nootropics. It speaks to people who understand that they want something in the morning to help them with extending their fast, or something in the morning that makes their coffee delicious and creamy. It speaks to the biohacker, but it also speaks to the person who's new to keto. So there's one story, but there's multiple ways of getting folks to kind of understand how this can impact their lives. So because there are so many products that put a sprinkle of things in there, like a little bit of dopamine help, a little bit of acetylcholine help, to me, it's just important to really bring across, you're getting full doses of each of these nootropics in amounts that have been used in studies showing benefit. So that's when I say it stands alone as a nootropic, but it's just delicious as a creamer.
I love that.
Hi, Josh. Josh is amazing.
Can't go morning without my Keto Brainz.
No, Josh is a huge fan and an awesome human.
So, personal question. Now I'm getting selfish. You said you love having a brain that works well.
Yes.
And it's very difficult for me to explain. So as we try a product first before we carry it.
Yep.
And there's something that Keto Brainz has been doing to me, which is when I do take Keto Brainz with coffee in the morning, I have seriously felt a difference. I felt a difference in my, like, this is you know, and I'm someone who's tried Four Sigmatic. I've tried,
Yep.
you know, mushrooms. I've dabbled in mushrooms. I've dabbled in ashwagandha. I've dabbled in all of these things.
All the things. Yep.
And especially as, you know, someone who has a business, job,
everything,
you know, a dog, a young child, all of
you're living 3 lives.
friendships. I like to keep my friends because I love my
Yes.
friends. Very important to me, my brothers. So what is happening to me? Like, why am I so productive every day? And to the point of, that's why I brought you on the show, because I was just like, you know, I can go on and people are just going to be like, who's this? Like, what's this kooky person saying about, you know what I mean? Like, they're just like, what's this kooky person holding this thing being like, oh, this is actually changing my day. But Mollee, like, if I tell you, it's actually changed even the direction of Switch, because I'm just more productive. So I'm like identifying the things I need to do, doing them. And I even take it on weekends to hang out with my kiddo and my dog, because I'm like, it helps me stay focused and all of the things. Then I read some of your customer reviews and they're mind-blowingly insane.
Like, we love our customers.
So can you just tell me what's happening to me? Like, is this real?
Yes. So we'll start with alpha GPC. So alpha GPC is a form of choline.
That's choline in this.
Yes.
Right?
So choline is an incredibly crucial lipid to every possible function in the human body. And we can get it from egg yolks, we can get it from certain fatty meats, we can get it in very small amounts from very small amounts from, say, a couple of nuts. So choline is crucial for making acetylcholine. Alpha GPC is alpha glycophosphocholine. This is a form of choline that does one of the best jobs possible at crossing the blood-brain barrier to help us make more acetylcholine. So acetylcholine actually dictates the speed of neurotransmission. Acetylcholine is the molecule of focus. So one thing to consider is that a large portion of the population has a series of gene mutations that have to do with something called MTHFR. And a number of the MTHFR gene mutations that most people don't even know they have will have an impact on how well someone utilizes choline or is able to make choline or get choline to where it needs to go. So I find it interesting to see for whom it feels like, holy shit, the lights are on, it's clearer than I've ever been. So for someone like that, it would be very interesting to see perhaps if you had those mutations. I know I do. Everyone that we have interacted with feels it right away, but I think some people feel it even more strongly. If you have been deficient in acetylcholine, or like, you know, I was a teenager in the 90s where you weren't supposed to eat fat. So where on earth was I getting choline back when my brain could have used help? So if you've gone an extended period of time where you haven't had, or you have a young baby. So moms basically, your brain is used as raw material to make your baby's brain.
Right.
So moms, you lose a percentage of their brain mass during pregnancy that can take up to 2 years to get back. So some of your choline stores go away just when you are pregnant and making a healthy baby. So there's a number of reasons why choline would be low in different individuals. Acetylcholine, like most people feel, alpha GPC, most people feel it. Some people feel it more strongly. So one, you are likely feeling more optimized levels of acetylcholine, which is going to help with focus. Two, we've got L-Theanine. I love L-Theanine. L-Theanine is an amino acid-like molecule that is most often thought of as found in green tea. So if you think of, you think of green tea, you might think of someone meditating or a monk in, a pose, right? So why would we think of a caffeine-infused beverage as something that would help us meditate? So that's theanine. Theanine is naturally occurring in large amounts in green tea. And there's some in mushrooms. I'm sure there's a number of other places where you get a little bit. So L-theanine is this lovely molecule that crosses the blood-brain barrier and helps us make more of our own GABA. So GABA is our primary calming neurotransmitter. Another thing that the L-Theanine has been shown to do is to increase alpha waves. So alpha waves, the best way that I know to describe them is a state of calm focus when you're doing something that you love. It could be running, it could be playing a musical instrument, it could be hiking. There's that place where you're literally in this nice, focused, calm, but not tired brain state. Theanine helps that about. And then we have our lion's mane. So lion's mane is interesting. Some people don't. Lion's mane is increasing, well, it's doing a lot of things, but for this conversation, we're increasing BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and we're increasing NGF, nerve growth factor. These are things that are crucial for the healing and repair of neurons and myelin sheath. Lion's mane does have some impact on bumping serotonin and dopamine as well, not in a super strong way, but that's another one where it's interesting because there are genes that code for either a greater production of BDNF or a lesser production of BDNF. So again, this is just, if I was a scientist, I would just go make people do a lot of expensive studies, but I'm not. So I think there's probably something to the people who feel lion's mane strongly, they may genetically be on the low end of natural production of BDNF. And those who don't feel it as strongly, perhaps already are optimized for producing it or engaged in other activities that are optimizing for that. And then the base, if you're taking it on an empty stomach in the morning, it's got a full 8 grams of C8. So you're bumping your body's own ketone production. So back to
C8 stands for, that's MCT, right?
Yes. So C8 MCT. So caprylic acid, there's C6, C8, C10. C8 does the best job of stimulating the liver's production of ketone bodies, as far as is known. Yeah. So your brain is feeling.
Who are you? Are you a scientist? Are you?
That's one thing. I am not a scientist, not a researcher. I will misspeak. We have this one chance, as far as we know, to live a life we want to live and to wake up wanting to live the life that we have. Right. And to me, that all starts with what we put in our bodies, what we do with our bodies, what toxins we allow in as far as humans, what toxins we allow in as far as foods. And I think, as a kid and as a teenager, I spent so much time, for a number of reasons, just not feeling right about self. And really the answer wasn't anything about external. In the external world, the answer was better understanding my own biology, better understanding why my brain felt a certain way, and understanding that there was a thing I could do about a lot of things. And so to me, doing everything I can as a non-scientist to understand the molecules and processes that I can add to my life to help me feel better every day. And I just get excited and I go down rabbit holes, and that's like, must know that thing. If I was independently wealthy, I would go back to school for effective neuroscience if ever I was wealthy. But until then, I'll study it in the few moments I have.
And sell as Keto Brainz. Karen had a question about macros on Keto Brainz. So if we can go into that. Mm-hmm. Do you want me to read it off, or you have it?
You can. Yeah, I've got it too.
Okay, so I've got 110 calories, all of them from fat. Total fat 10 grams, no sodium, 2 net carbs, I believe, per serving. Yep. And then 7 grams of organic coconut milk powder. So you've disclosed the dosage of each nootropic, and then 8 grams of 70% C8 MCT powder. Yep. Okay, that was the composition. Sorry, going back to math. I was just got really curious.
Yeah, I was like, what's there? Yeah. So the macros, they're really as ketogenic as we could make them. There's always going to be an inherent, a small amount of carbohydrate in the C8 MCT powder and in the coconut powder. Right. And even lion's mane has a tiny bit, but 2 net carbs is very happy for a ketogenic creamer. And there's many I've tried, and I was always disappointed because you know, you look at the back and the serving, it's like, 30 calories, and you look and it's one teaspoon. I'm like, 1 teaspoon of X creamer, whose name I won't say, and my coffee doesn't look like it has creamer in it. So before I know it, I'm pouring half the bag of this other creamer into my coffee just to try to make it look and taste good. And so, you know, with Keto Brainz, we could have done what all these companies have done. We could have called this a 90-day supply and said there was only 30 calories per serving, and then giving you a scoop that was 1/3 less the size. But I want you to put this in your coffee and have the same experience I want for myself. I want you to feel it. I want it to taste amazing. And I want the texture to be as though I put, you know, heavy cream in my cup.
Right. Karen also asked, how much would you use?
So, you know, for me, I use regularly 3 scoops a day. I do start very early. I have a very busy life at the moment. So I'm up at 3:30. So I've got my first cup of coffee at 3:30, and I've got a scoop of Keto Brainz in there. I get out the door to take my dogs for a walk. I make myself another cup of coffee with Keto Brainz before I go to CrossFit. And around midday, because my days are very long, I will typically have either a matcha, where I add a scoop of Keto Brainz, or coffee. So for me, I know exactly what it does for me, how it feels, and how it feels. So for me, 3 scoops a day is normal. You know, we've had people where they're just like, they've never tried anything in here. They're not sure what to do about it. So I'll often say, listen, you know what, try a half a scoop in your coffee for the first 2 days, see how you feel. But typically people just jump right in with their first scoop, and they know how it feels, but 2 to 3 times a day is completely fine.
Amazing. And that's, I think, Karen's next question, which was how many times a day can you use it? So for me, I do 1 scoop a day, and I do about, so I do the full scoop because I take a really giant cup of coffee. Like that's my jam every day. So most creamers that I've tried do not do a coffee justice.
No,
they do not do a coffee justice. And you can tell because I like my coffee creamy, and they have the little dark color. And I'm like, this is not a creamer. You shouldn't even call it a creamer. You might as well just call it only a supplement, which is why
the creamer to the coffee afterwards.
Right. Also, just how cute are we? Like, look at that. I just did a little time lapse.
I can't watch myself. I feel like I look like a Muppet. I'm just trying not to watch.
You know what? We have started this new thing on the show, which is self.
Oh, I think you're saying something awesome, but you froze.
You're back?
Yep, I got you.
You're back. Okay, you're back. Everybody, please tell me that you can see us and you have still got us, because for a second I lost connection. Or it said you lost connection, but no, you've made an amazing product. Your brain is beautiful. You're making all of our brains beautiful. So that's just what that's what we're going with today. So I start, Karen, I do 1 scoop. I do half a scoop sometimes on a Sunday when I'm like, I'm doing nothing today except sleeping or not sleeping, but like just more relaxed. But as I said, I actually really like for weekends. So that's the half a scoop. And then this is the full scoop. So the scoop comes in the bag. It's a giant bag. I'd love, Mollee, if we can talk about the price.
Yes.
Yeah. Right? And pricing is always something where I think on our site, I'll check, or you could tell me the US price that you have on your site, and then we can go from there.
Yeah. So the US price, it's $39.99. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Sorry, the headphones. So, you know, if you were to buy each of these ingredients ingredients on your own. So you're looking at alpha GPC at a 300 milligram dose per pill. You're looking at anywhere between $29.99 to $39.99 for a bottle just of the alpha GPC. On the L-Theanine, to get that 250 milligram dose, you're looking at anywhere from $15 to $25 to buy that bottle. And then for a lion's mane at a 500 milligram dose with 30% polysaccharide extract, you're looking at $39 to $50 just to buy those 3 nootropics. That's separate from remembering to take the correct dose every morning, and then again every afternoon, or as often as you want to do it. And that's separate from trying to figure out, like, what's the right ratio? How many milligrams of alpha GPC to milligrams of L-Theanine to milligrams of lion's mane? And C8, if anyone has played around with MCT, you know that C8 MCT oil and C8 MCT powder are the most expensive. And finding one that dissolves well in your beverage is also difficult. So, you know, in reality, we launched this product at $59.99 because that's kind of, it's worth that. But even though most of us don't spend cash, there's still, like, at least in the States, I don't know Canadian denominations, but you think of like 220s is like, it feels psychologically safe to drop on a new product. But as soon as you get to $60, that's almost $100. And that feels less like, it looks great, but that's so close to $100. How many hours did I work to, you know, make $100? So we did everything we could to bring the price to $39.99 down from that initial $60, because, you know, that's a huge barrier to entry for a brand new product. And we wanted people to put it in their mouths. I knew it would work. I knew they would feel it. I knew it would taste good. So, you know, $39.99 is a price point we're trying really, really hard to stay at. We're doing everything we can to be able to purchase larger quantities of raw material, because the more you buy, the lower the cost of each one gets. We're doing everything we can to lower cost without changing anything about the quality. And that's where it gets tricky, because I'm not going to make a product that I would not put in my body 3 times a day. I'm just not. It's not worth it. So $39.99 is what we're aiming to stick at. And we were able to do that through COVID, even with all of the increased shipping costs and everything that was going on during COVID. So, you know, for a creamer, $39.99 is a lot. For a nootropic, if you start doing some research, $39.99 is cheap. So we're in this middle ground between, we're an inexpensive nootropic for the quality and the dosages that you're getting, and we're an expensive creamer if you're just looking to buy a creamer. But if you're just looking for a creamer, you're probably not buying this unless you accidentally buy it and are like, my brain, I love this, I will buy it again. So it's tricky.
That's really helpful. So in Canada right now, we have a sale going on, just because when we launch new products, we always try to have a sale so that, you know, off the launch price, because we just want, so I really want to say thank you for supporting that sale.
Yeah,
we're actually almost out of it. We're almost out of inventory.
Nice.
Order. So
beautiful.
We're going to be placing another order soon. And it's 60. So obviously with the exchange rate and the customs and
import costs,
and import costs and all of that, it's
so just
$7.49. Sorry.
And just so customers on your end know, like, we've had around the world, and they're paying more for shipping than they are for the product because they want it so bad. And we had so many folks in Canada wanting the product, they were paying $40+ for shipping, in addition to getting hit with crazy fees just to get it from wherever they were getting it. We even had one really nice gentleman. He's like, I don't know what the situation was, but I guess like there was a pharmacy on one side of the border, and he wanted to see if he could have his order shipped to the pharmacy, because then he crossed the border to get it and not have to pay the fee. I'll do whatever. Just, I want to help you get the product. So, you know, it is, everything is, shipping is so expensive. I had an order to a gal in the UK, and the poor lady, she ordered a 3-pack, and they wanted 500 pounds in export fees. And I was just like, it was a queen's fee and this. I was like, this is insane. So again, we're so happy that you are making Keto Brainz available to Canada, because
thank you so much.
And you guys are a pleasure to work with. So it's,
I mean, I'm also your new poster child, because I'm just like,
I love it.
Hey, I'm just, you should run a Facebook ad with me just going, hello, something has happened to me and I don't know what it is. And I'll just like hold it up. And you'll be like, do you want that same something?
Can I cut that? I cut that out of this video.
I'll send it to you. Or, we could do one of those cheesy 70s ads. Like,
yep.
You want your brain to be focused.
Yes.
Do you want to get a lot of work done today? Are you bored, but you need to hang out with your family?
Yes.
Is your brother annoying you today?
That's awesome.
Keto
Brainz.
And then, I just like come in with
you just did it. Yes. Oh, that. I like the addition of.
I did. Kimberly says that would be a good clip. And then Karen says she's very interested in product. So Karen has another question, which is, can you still use heavy cream?
Oh, yeah. So you absolutely can. So, we still add other stuff to our coffee. So before I go to CrossFit, I actually add a chocolate salt element to the Keto Brainz in the coffee. If I brew an extra dark pot of coffee, or if I'm just feeling like I want something that is additionally treat-like, I might add heavy cream. You can do whatever you want with it. The beauty is that it stands alone. It's not making your coffee taste bad, and you can, sometimes salted butter in coffee is amazing. I don't need it in there, but I remember how good that salted butter in the coffee was, so I'll add that to the coffee. It just kind of depends on, what I'm feeling, how I want to be fueled for the day. Like if I know I should eat, but I'm not going to have the opportunity to, then I might add that extra pat of butter to the coffee. I'd add salt. So absolutely, you're not diminishing the effects in any way, shape, or form by adding the cream.
And I add a coconut almond cashew creamer that we make. I make it all the time. So I do like a mix of coconut almond cashew milk and then like real nuts. It's a product called Joy that we carry. So I make that, and then I put that in because I like to kind of stay dairy free a little bit in the mornings. Yep. On the weekends, I'm putting in 35%, like a nice heaping tablespoon of heavy cream with the again, to hang out with my family. They're not watching. Please don't.
So you know what's delicious is I'll make an adult hot chocolate. So I just take raw cacao powder and whatever sweetener you want to use, a scoop of Keto Brainz, a little additional heavy cream, and some whipped cream. And it tastes just like hot chocolate, but you're getting all the polyphenol content from the raw cacao powder. You're getting the nootropics from the Keto Brainz, and just that little bit of whipped cream on top. And there's nothing like it. I call it a pup cup for myself because I get my dog's pup cup of whipped cream. Yeah. And when I'm having a day, it's just like I just need an adult hot chocolate with my whipped cream on top.
We need to do a winter holiday hot chocolate recipe. Yep. Let's do that. We'll do that.
Yes.
And, okay, I want to make sure I get back to my questions because I'm enjoying talking to you way too much. So we talked about could we talk about short-term or long-term?
Yep.
So do we need to use Keto Brainz every day to get the effects, or does it have a long-term impact as well?
It has both. So acutely, you're going to feel it right away. So you're going to take that scoop, you're going to feel it right away. You do not have to take it all the time in order to receive the benefit on an acute, immediate basis. In the long term, the benefits are innumerable. Number one, just by virtue of the fact that you own the C8 MCT to increase production of ketones, the benefit that ketones, both self-created and exogenous, have on the health of our mitochondria, the health of our brain, the health of our liver are massive. So to me, anything we're ingesting that is optimizing for ketone production is a long-term health helping strategy. Same with lion's mane.
And same with alpha GPC. So again, every single one of your cell membranes, and we're composed of 65 to 90 trillion cells, is composed of phospholipids, like saturated fat and cholesterol, and special little phospholipids. And choline is crucial to the health of those cell membranes. So, you know, with regards to cellular health, cognitive health, in both the short term and the long term, whether you're 20 years old or you're 60 years old, there's always something you can do to ensure that that you arrive in your future at 20, you know, if you're 20, you want to arrive at 25 healthy. If you're 60, you want to arrive at 65 healthy. So for me, everything in Keto Brainz is something that anyone from 18 to 200 can benefit from, for both the immediate, I need to feel something now, but also to feel confident that you're ingesting something that's helping your nervous system, your brain, and your mitochondria arrive in a healthy place for your future, whether that's an hour from now, tomorrow, or 30 years from now. So short and long term.
I love that. Thank you so much. I also wanted to ask you about whether you need to take a break from Keto Brainz.
You know,
So, yeah, because sometimes I remember when I used to have Four Sigmatic, after a while, I would just, maybe I just got too used to it or something like that, or I didn't, I'm not sure. And then I took a break and then I'd come back to it.
Yep. So there's any number of ways that we can look at this. One, I think that with the human body, every once in a while, it's good to switch things up. Whether it's, you know, if I'm doing keto carnivore and, you know, we go on vacation somewhere, I might have a burger with a bun, and I'm not worried about that event, right? It's good to keep the body on its toes and switch things up. And anytime you're tickling neurotransmitters, it is a good idea to take a break every once in a while. My life is so busy, I don't feel like I have the luxury of taking a break from tickling my neurotransmitters, but there's value to switching things up, whether we're talking about a B vitamin or a nootropic. And by switching things up, it could just be, you know, if you want on the weekend or one day a week, have just coffee with cream. One of the things you'll notice is that you'll crave it. Like, we had a customer review where this gentleman, he was on a fast of some sort, and I forget if he was doing no coffee at all or just he was on a Keto Brainz fast. And he basically was describing his whole morning, from his sauna to his ice bath, everything he was doing. And basically he couldn't stop thinking about that first cup of Keto Brainz that he was going to have back in his life. So I say that because there's value to simply taking a break from things we love, because then we remember how much we love them. And whether it's psychological or physiological, you may have a bounce back effect where you're like, oh man, now I remember how good that feels. So that's been my experience when we've been traveling and somehow I didn't bring Keto Brainz, or we ran out, and then I'm back after a couple of days off. I'm like, oh yes, we need this. This is amazing. So yes.
I felt like that on vacation. I 1,000% felt like it. But I love the concept of switching it up, because even if you switch it up to know that you miss it, that's important information. And honestly, that was the basis for our company name, SwitchGrocery, because your life changes, your situation changes. We're always changing, and so we can't do the same thing. We can't do the same thing.
It's an amazing conversation too, because even when it comes to nootropics, back to something we kind of brought up in the beginning, you know, I'll find the perfect stack of activity and food and supplements, and it'll just be perfect for a few weeks. And then a week will come and I don't feel quite right, so you just lean heavier into the same thing that you always did, and that just makes it worse. And then you get to this place where you're like, all right, let's regroup. Am I exercising too much? Am I not exercising enough? Do I need more arugula? Do I need less? Like, whatever it is, there's always going to be minor changes in our physiology and our hormones, which lead to minor changes in how we feel neurochemically. And we can't be afraid to stop and go, all right, let's recalibrate. Let's try something different. Maybe we switch foods up. Maybe we don't go to the gym in the morning. Maybe we go to the gym at night. And I think that for many people, it feels so good once they find a thing that works that they're almost holding on too tightly to doing it exactly that way. Like, I love that that's the genesis of the name of your company, because that's life. Like, inevitably, you're either going to be forced to switch things up or you're going to choose to switch things up for any number of reasons.
Yeah. Thank you. I really, I love hearing you talk about hormonal changes and physiological changes.
Oh yeah.
And that there's
Because
nothing
they're all
wrong.
to this.
That's what, so this is a whole other conversation, but you know, as females, we have a cycle, so we know there's going to be this either very regular or depending on how your cycles are, there's changes that happen hormonally that have a direct effect on dopamine, acetylcholine, and GABA. But you know, you grow up hearing, oh, it's your hormones, it's just this. Well, no, X hormone does this to X neurotransmitter. What can we do about that? Or this hormone makes this happen. And it just, the more you know about how your own hormones are affecting your cognitive state, the more you can dial them to feel good and not have to feel bad.
Yeah, I love that. And also Kimberly's adding, you know, it's why some days she has coffee and chai or matcha, other days just with the switching up. I really like that. It makes so much sense. And I'm just going back to Jonah. She had said you have to eat healthy fat to lose fat. Yep. People think you're crazy when you say this. Absolutely, Jonah, because with my Indian background when I was younger, so I spent the first 13 years of my life, Mollee, in India. And at the time, I always say that at that time specifically, I always felt like India was 10 years behind the US. So like even in the US, Canada, when people are getting kind of candy conscious, it's being pushed in India by the food companies because they're like, oh, still, you know, that we can still push a ton of candy here. You know, and at that time it really, like, fat was really vilified because in you know, in India, like, clarified ghee was made, you know, all the time. You know, my grandmother made it, my dad made it, like, it was really traditional. It was what you had. And then at some point they were like, don't eat that, don't eat ghee. Like it's, you know, all these things that happen. So I definitely go back to, I think what's helping me is the alpha GPC because, you know, I chronically underate as a kid, plus didn't get enough fat. So all of these things. I'm also, my A1C is in the pre-diabetic range right now. I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant. And I'm working to bring my A1C down. So I might send you a separate email about a Keto Brainz fast because I heard you say that. I want to switch gears because this is my favorite part of the live. It is about, oh, sorry. I just would want to quickly catch Karen. So Karen said, I've been feeling so sluggish in the morning. Would this help me?
I mean, absolutely.
Definitely, Karen. I think that you should try it. I know that it is more like we were talking about trial. And so right now that's why we have it on 10% off. And Karen, you might have points because Karen's always buying things. So I always tell everyone to check their points first. Your points. This is my favorite part. You started this business with your younger brother.
Yes.
You have a younger brother. So you're our first brother-sister co-founder team.
I love it.
And, you know, I heard you saying on another podcast that you don't see that often. I'm so lucky. I have two brothers, one older, 2 years older, and one 10 years younger to me. He's my half brother. And like my younger brother is like the biggest fan of SwitchGrocery, like shouts me out, doesn't even know what I do, but like shouts it all out. Awesome. And then my older brother like helped me pack Black Friday orders when we used to pack our orders and like would show up. They both now have partners who also are like huge, just huge supporters, right? We need that as business owners, as entrepreneurs. We need the highs are so great. They're so great. And the lows are so low. Yeah. It's like life. It's very, it mirrors
concentrated.
Life. Right? High or low. So I wanted to kind of ask you about just starting a business, like as a family, the challenges and
Yeah.
and the and the advantages of
So
that.
we actually have a really unique situation in that we grew up in a family business that tore the family apart. So we grew up in a family business where the entire side of my dad's family worked for this business. I'm 5 years older, so I remember it was a machine shop. I remember going to the machine shop and playing with the pieces that came off of the lathe, and we grew up. I grew up. Kyle's 5 years younger, and this kind of all went to poop when I was 8. So Kyle doesn't have as much of that memory. So we grew up seeing what a family business done incorrectly. I can't even say that. You don't you don't really know the previous generation. You don't know anything. You don't know. So I still can't say I know, but growing up watching that, there was always the thought like, wow, like this was really bad for these people to be in a business together. And the reality is it could have just been the people, and it might not have mattered that they were family. And we both left home young and kind of went off on our own. And we, at a very young age, kind of understood that we needed to save ourselves for ourselves in order to build a life as a teenager, and then a 20 something, and then a 30 something. So we kind of made the decision to at least emotionally pull away from scenarios that made it difficult for us to do the growing that we had to do. So all of that to say, Kyle and I are very close. He's my best friend in life. Like, we're not sure, like we're each other's point of relativity in existence. So, we're very fortunate as siblings to have the bond we have and to have the shared past we have. And I think that's the thing that I find to be so rare, are siblings that are that close. And it's not like any other relationship, because people do break up with their families, but it's not like being in a relationship and breaking up with a boyfriend. Like, this is like your person in the world who's there to support you and help you and trust you no matter what. And for us, neither of us can imagine being in business with anyone else, because there's no one's brain who I trust as much as his brain. We call ourselves same brain, because when you know someone so well, you're communicating half the words and they still know exactly what needs to happen. So we're really fortunate in that way. And as far as business goes, we're really fortunate. Kyle's trajectory, Kyle has multiple degrees in all sorts of things. He will be the first one to tell you don't go to college, because he ended up becoming a wedding photographer, which had nothing to do with any of these advanced degrees. He has a master's in education, linguistics, all of this stuff. So he built his photography business on his own from scratch. He apprenticed with a wedding photographer, learned from him. He had about 10 years of being an entrepreneur under his belt, while I was over here, learning and teaching and helping people with their health issues. So I was deeply entrenched in understanding supplements, understanding diets, trying to understand what it was to be healthy. So we had two really strong places to pull together from. I wasn't just like, hey, let me make a product without knowing anything about how to build a website, or what the heck is SEO, and why do I have to have social media? I got rid of that years ago.
Right.
Like, he knew yes. So I know that so there's that. And then for me, our product is in the realm of what I've done for 20 plus years. So it was kind of the perfect combination. There's nothing like working with someone who, there's not even a question of trust. There's not even a question of trusting intention or the brain's ability to just push. We can both drive really hard when we need to. We can tell each other if we don't like a thing, and there's zero offense taken. It's like, I want critical feedback. If I write something, I want you to tell me what I should change. If I make a post and it's not good, tell me. So it's a very fluid and healthy relationship. And just so grateful for it because we also enjoy it and we get to grow together. And we sometimes call it like Rucker 2.0 because it's like a different iteration of a Rucker business.
For sure.
Yeah.
I just deeply admire you, and I deeply admire you both. Also, just I think it's really important to decide emotionally when and if you want a different life for yourself, and it's great to be able to do that with a sibling, right?
So
And
important.
you want to make different choices, go in a different direction.
Yep.
I just quoted my older brother recently. My older brother and I have been on our own since I was 16 and he was 18, and it was fundamentally transformed. Who we became, how
1000%.
all of the things.
Yep.
And I remember one day he said something to me, and it was very recent. So I'm turning 40, and I'm really excited about it.
Congrats! Yes.
Thank you. It's in the next 2 weeks.
It's fun. It's fun here.
It's so exciting. But the same thing, I'm hearing his words again, and he had to take. You're the older sister, so you probably had to take on a lot more responsibility, just more. And regardless, you looked out, for your younger brother.
I think it's more that, like, as the older sibling, if you at least know what you've been feeling or going through with family, and so like there's just this. You just desperately want the best. Like for me, it was just like, I have very few tools or resources available to me, but you want the best. You want the best for them, and they want the best for us too. I know you want the best for your brother now. It's like
100%. But I would say that he definitely took on more of that role for both of us of leading the way and making opportunities for me that maybe he didn't get himself. So I'm so deeply grateful to that. But he said something, and I'll we can end the interview. This is like a great interview. But he said something. I think when I was 17, and I was just like, I want better dinner. I want something. Like, I just felt like I was owed because we were both on our own. So I was like, somebody owes me something. Come help. Yeah. And he said, no one is coming.
No one is coming to save you.
Save us at the time.
No.
You're being like, oh, that's depressing. But turning
so empowering.
It's so empowering because now those words are replaying in my head of, no one's coming. I can get up every day and say, I'm tired. I don't want to face the day, or like the business is too hard, or my kid didn't sleep, or all these things. Nobody is coming.
Nope.
And especially like, I think, having a partner, a business partner and a life partner, you can take all the expectations and put it on that person. Or you can really just deeply say, no one is coming. It's the same advice that my brother gave me when I was 17.
And it's one of my favorite quotes. Like, it's, you work out your own salvation with diligence, because no one's coming to save you, and it can be scary, or it's the fire under your butt to to like, what have you got to lose? Go for it. Build a business. You might fail. Do it again. This is the game. I love that. You are wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this. I'm super excited. Like, I mean, I'm a fan anyway. I'm going to record a few ads just because
you are amazing.
I think Kimberly said this would be a good clip. So I think I need to record a few ads for Keto Brainz, and you can use them.
You are awesome.
I want to see myself on your Facebook ads. How can we find Keto Brainz? Like on social media? How can we follow your journey? I see you're very active on LinkedIn now. How can people find you?
Yeah, so if you go to our website, ketobrainz.com, our blog is a great place just to learn. Obviously, if you're in Canada, go to SwitchGrocery, and please, Canadians, go to SwitchGrocery, support these amazing people in Keto Brainz. But you can always visit our site to check out our blog. We when I have time, I try to deep dive on topics that are relevant to self-optimization, relevant to cellular health. There's always something there. Instagram, you'll see goofy pictures of us because we're goofy, and you'll find education there. You'll find a little bit about what we're doing. We're on Instagram a lot. LinkedIn, my personal job situation has been changing, so I had to put on my big girl panties and make a LinkedIn account. So you can find me and Keto Brainz on LinkedIn. I'm now an adult. I have a LinkedIn. But as I have time, I try to put up articles and share things relevant to feeling good as a human, pretty much on all platforms. Kyle is phenomenal. Kyle is the other half of Keto Brainz. You can find him on Instagram at Head and Heart Photography, or online if you want to see his photography, go to Kyle Rucker, Google Kyle Rucker Santa Barbara, and you will find Head and Heart Photography. But we'll get him on sometime. He's an awesome human being. I know I'm biased, but.
Well, I love that. And when I come out, I'm trying to plan a California trip this year.
Come
so
play.
I will definitely come and see you. And we will have Keto Brainz together. Maybe I'll have it 3 times a day when we spend the day together.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I want to say thank you to Kimberly. She said that was great. Thank you. And Karen, thank you so much, Karen. Just all the questions that you asked were so
you've got such great customers.
Oh, thank you. I'm so lucky. On the hardest days, when you know this, when you get like a big freight bill out of nowhere and it has like 5 digits on it.
Yes.
It's just like, wait, what? Or like you get a call from the border that something stopped. Or you just get a really mean email that says, "How dare my jam be broken in transit?" And you've ruined my life.
Why did you do this to me?
And then you're like, "I'm sorry, I'll send you another jam." I think about I just think about our customers. We call them our customer friends, but they're so, I don't think they know it. Like, we don't have a board of directors. We don't, we're all, self-funded with some loans, and it's just amazing. Like, just reading a review will change my day.
I can't, same thing. It's just like, there's those days where like, why? And then you read a review and you're like, this is why. Julie in Arkansas feels amazing. We must have Keto Brainz. And it makes it all worth it, because yes, we want to, build a business. We need to pay our bills. We need to do all of that. But if we can, if we can build a business and we're doing something that's making other people feel something positive, I don't know what more you can kind of ask for in a realm where we have to exchange this limited amount of time that we have in existence to make this stuff we've called money. If we can make people feel better in that process of turning our life's time into this stuff called money, I don't know if it gets any better than that. So
for sure.
And
Mollee, you're doing an amazing job. Like, to bring something like this, to know it inside and out, to be able to answer every freaking question I throw at you. You've done your homework. And I think this is where I thrive, where I'm a very rely on people who've done that work, because I can't do that work, right? Like, I can't go and research every single supplement and every single nootropic and listen to hours and hours of podcasts and then go and buy my own concoction and literally try to. I cannot do that. I'm sorry, but that's not me. It's not me. Like, that's not who I'm not good at that.
Nope.
And I would be making a product. It's okay, but I'm just so grateful to you to do that and do it with integrity and actually have a vision. Like, I think you've already answered what you hope to bring people with Keto Brainz. Just like a more, I think, well-functioning. Oh, wait, you hope to bring a brain that works well. I loved that quote.
Yes, because I think, again, anything that we want to do or change or feel in our lives, the starting place is how we feel. And that starts within our brain with our neurotransmitters. So if there's a simple creamer with a funny name that helps you make that first step to creating a better life, Like that's our initial tagline was, we make good brains better. And we thought we thought people would take offense, but the idea is like, you're not broken, but we can all be better. We can all feel better. We can all be better positioned to say, I'm on solid ground and I'm going to try this new thing. But all of that starts with having a neurotransmitter state that allows it. Whether it's you're sad, or you're always angry, or you're unmotivated, or you don't think that, like, some people don't think CrossFit is for them. That was me until I was 40. That's for those, skinny buff people. That's not for me. Or that's for these people over here. Or I could never have a business. Sometimes we all just need a little kick in the butt to get our neurotransmitters in order to realize we're crazy to have these thoughts that a thing isn't for us. Because whatever you want to try is for you to try. But you've got to have a good neurotransmitter state first. And if this helps people get to a brain state where they feel well enough and bright enough to try new things and to grow, then we're doing something good.
Can I just mic drop? Mic drop. Thank you, everyone. And Karen, you were not nasty at all when your jam was broken. At all. I would replace your jams any day. All right, everyone, have a great night.
Have a great night, guys.
Bye, Mollee.
Yeah.
Oh, Mollee,
nice
can
to
stay
talk
on.
to you all.